Welcome back. I'm Bryce.
I'm Chase, and this is Keenan.
And we've been full-time RVers for 3.5 years now. We travel pretty much coast to coast for Chase's work. He's a welder. If you have any other questions, watch our very first video. But of those 3.5 years, we don't actually own a lot of RV accessories or what people recommend. So if you type in like on Pinterest or Google, YouTube or whatever, people will recommend all sorts of different things, whether it's gadgets, accessories, things that have helped them with RVing, organizational stuff, which is great. It's great that it works for them. But we've realized that we actually don't own a lot of those things after 3.5 years. Now, there are some things that we're going to discuss in this video that we are going to buy, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But we're just going to share a few things that we just don't own. And if you own them and you love it, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we just don't own those things. And we'll kind of, I guess, share why as we go along. So we're going to start outside, and then we'll go inside. So the first one we don't own is a rug.
Outdoor rug.
Outdoor rug.
Yeah, when we purchased this camper, the couple that we purchased it from gave us a bunch of different accessories, and an outdoor area rug was one of them. And after it just kind of unthreaded itself and just kind of got all nasty, we decided not to repurchase another one. I mean, it is nice. I mean, it would probably help a lot to not track in as much dust and dirt and stuff into the camper, but I just don't think they're really worth it.
Yeah, and we've been at maybe not even a handful of RV parks where they don't allow area rugs to outdoor rugs because of the grass and stuff, which I totally understand. I respect the rules, so we just don't have one. Plus, you'll find out we don't like to pack and unpack a lot of stuff in the camper, so that's just one thing we have to pack up. Another thing we don't own is a Blackstone and a smoker. I feel like those are some things that have been coming up a lot lately. I know people who absolutely love both, but we just don't.
Yeah, we have an old Smoky right here, but we're gonna get rid of it. It just takes up too much space, and
yeah, we'll let you all know what we're gonna get instead. We also don't own I guess you would call it a shade blind that kind of comes across the camper here that hooks up. We don't own any of those, mainly because I just don't see the need for one.
Yeah.
I know people, they'll put stakes down and stuff to keep it in place, but we just don't have one. So speaking of shades, we also don't own I think they're called like clamshells or something. I'll put a picture of them right here. They're independent, freestanding. We just don't own any of that. And I know people who absolutely love theirs. You'll see a lot of RVers, share theirs, and that is great. We just don't have one. That's also another thing you got to put up and take down. We also don't own any string lights that go around the camper.
They typically go right here. If you're gonna put them, you're gonna install them right there.
Yeah.
Hook into like the 12-volt battery, the system. But yeah.
We don't own any of those. I don't know why we don't. We just don't. Another thing we don't own, I have a list. Any decor or plants. I'm just not a huge decorations person, outdoors and plants.
But the inside's a different story.
Okay.
I mean, within reason, nothing crazy.
It's not. Yeah. It's not Christmas, but it's very minimal. But for plants, the very first RV park we stayed at was quote a safari park, and this donkey ate my plants twice. And therefore, I do not have any plants. And then I tried again beginning of last year, and the RV park we were at, the owner of this dog, he just let his dog loose. He didn't pay attention to him at all. And so his dog would come all over to our spot and pee on all my stuff, including my plants. So I've just given up on plants. Plus, it's just one more thing to pack and unpack, and I'm just not a plant person, and that is okay. So with that, plants and decor, any like flags. We do have an American flag that we need to get a mount for. But other than that, we don't really have any stake flags, like, you put it in the ground, little flags. Yeah. We don't have any lawn stuff.
No yard art.
Yeah.
No yard lights or anything like that. Which I think it would be kind of neat to get some, what?
Bird feeders.
That's correct. Or hummingbird. We did have a little hummingbird feeder.
Yeah, we did have a hummingbird feeder
But
outdoors.
the one I bought was just cheap, and I think it'd be cool to get another one. But back to the yard lights, I think it would be cool to get some solar yard lights, just something to kind of illuminate the ground a little bit,
especially at night.
Because those really don't take up too much space, but I'd be fine with.
Literally, what we keep outside is our grill, our solo stove with a heat deflector, this chair, and that chair.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Oh, we have a few things in the front, but that's pretty much all this side. We don't have any paddle boards either. Nothing against them. We just don't.
We're just not into it.
We're just not into it. Nor kayaks. Yeah, we're just not into it. I think it would be kind of fun to rent them if we do. Now, that's another thing is if you're unsure about getting something, maybe just go somewhere and rent it and see if you like it. Onward to the front of the camper. You open the front.
Oh, sorry. I was over here looking at the trucks. I love looking at the different trucks at the
Oh,
campground.
gosh.
Sorry. This is our front compartment, which would store a generator. Oh, we have our batteries over there, hydraulic system, and yeah, that is one thing that we've not purchased. We are going to install one this winter. That'll be a later video. We're really excited about it. We really think that it's gonna help us on travel days.
Boondocking.
For boondocking, for my work, I like to have full hookups just because I get so dirty and I want to be able to have a shower every night. Having the generator will allow us to, there's a cost, an upfront cost, but I believe it'll pay for itself quickly when we start boondocking in national forests, BLM land.
So it is possible to RV life without a generator. Yeah,
Just
we've done
full
it for
hookups
3.5 years, full hookups all the time.
Full hookups or nothing, just truck stops, the rest areas.
So another thing that we don't own, I guess it would be kind of plumbed somewhere around here.
Yeah, you could.
Or around
you could
this
tie
area.
it in from the water spigot to the camper and on the ground, or the water filtration system that we want to get. I'll install
somewhere right.
I'll take off this compartment back here and install it back there and plumb it in directly to our water line.
So we don't have any water filtration. We did have those blue things, those like $20 blue things when we first started. Those are okay. They really just get the big stuff. And honestly, we didn't really see much of a difference with those. Now, we do not drink drink the water that's coming directly into the camper. We have a Berkey for that filters our water. We don't have any water filtration. So whatever we do get, we will obviously let y'all know. We also don't have a macerator, which would be, hooked up to the nastiness because we don't boondock. And speaking of water, we also don't have a
water bladder. Yeah, we don't have a water bladder. I have some ideas. This winter, I will kind of share some neat hacks that I believe is going to be very convenient, and I wouldn't say give you unlimited water, but it's going to definitely allow.
Yeah. So we have not boondocked at all in 3.5 years of RVing, and
we're getting set up.
Mainly the reason is because when Chase works, we have to have full hookups because Chase is a welder. He has to shower every day after work, or even like I've worked with you a few times too. So we both need showers. And we just always stay at hookups because usually if we go somewhere, we're there for quite a long time too. And so because of that, we just have never really boondocked. It's never been something, I guess, really on our radar for a while either, except for this summer. This summer has really been a, trial run for us in a way. Because in the past, we've usually just, when Chase isn't working, we'll park the camper somewhere and go visit family. This summer, we've kind of gone rogue and went and visited some places that we've always wanted to go and see. Because of that, we've learned a lot. So make sure you watch all of our other videos to see what we've learned. And one of those is to stay closer to national parks.
Yes.
We definitely have seen the need for that and to stay as close as you can. And part of that is going to be boondocking. Also, because of Chase's work and schedule, it's kind of hard to know exactly when Chase is going to work. And it's hard for us to pay for something for like an RV spot, knowing that we're probably going to have to eat some of that fee because of if Chase gets a call and it's too good to pass up, we want to be able to go. We are pretty flexible people anyway, but we just want to be more flexible. And boondocking will allow more flexibility. And really anywhere north of Colorado and north, RV parks are just so expensive, y'all. It's just crazy. I mean, where we're at right now, we're paying $360 a week, which is pretty reasonable for what we've been paying this summer. But you can spend anywhere from $400 to $800 a week at an RV spot up in the mountains or close to different places. I think for us, because we do see us doing this for the long run, that buying the boondocking stuff is going to be beneficial. Now, if you're one that's like, I'm not boondocking at all, I just want full hookup, then you may not need any of these things. And we've been doing it for 3.5 years. So onward and upward. We won't take you upward because we have Kenai with us, but we do not have any
solar system.
Yep.
You don't have a solar system. No panels, no lithium batteries, just lead acid batteries. But we're going to work on that this winter.
So we do not have that. The only thing that's on our roof is Starlink. And if you want our honest review of Starlink, leave a comment below and we'll make sure to do that in a video soon. So another thing that we don't own would be hooked up in the very back of our camper.
Yes.
And that is bikes. We do not have any bikes and we do not have a honey wagon.
We have a clear
rear
end. And yeah.
Our rear is
and
clear.
I like it like that. If you want to show them the rear end,
so
I like it like that. I
make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That's actually new. So
I don't have a rear view camera because this is a 2010. I don't even know if they installed them, but I definitely doesn't have a factory one. I'd have to do an auxiliary mounted one, but yeah, I just don't feel the need for one.
We did have some bikes when we first started RVing. I had a, what would you call it, just like a regular
Just a little
cruiser
cruiser.
bike, and Chase had a mountain bike. And where we were at, it was just not a bikeable area, and we were there for quite some time, and we just ended up selling them. And I think now I would like a gravel bike. I think Chase wants a gravel bike as well. E-bikes, I'm not too sure. I have nothing against them. I just don't think it would benefit us or what I'm into personally. So if you have e-bikes and you love them, great. We just don't have any of them, and we don't have any other bikes. So I think that's all the outside stuff. Oh, another thing, coming on to this side. If you watched our vet video, taking the dog, sorry, my nose is allergies. If you watched our vet video, you know we also don't have any dog fence type thing here to keep our dog in. Kenai is just, he likes outside, but he's bougie and likes the AC. We also don't have a, well, we do have it, we just haven't hooked it up, and we got this for free. We don't have a TPMS monitoring system thing. It's a tire pressure monitoring thing. We got it for free on a giveaway and back in May, and we haven't put it up yet. What do you do for tires?
Before the trip, before we leave, I check all the lugs, make sure they're tightened down. I check the air pressure. And I check to make sure there's enough grease in the, make sure everything's checking out fine with the wheel bearings. I'll check tire pressure before we leave, and then if it's really, really hot, then I'll check it throughout the day as we're driving at fuel stops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
what do you use to check the tire?
We have a Viair air compressor. I highly recommend it. Friends also have the DeWalt battery powered one that they've seemed to really like it as well.
Yeah. I'll put a link to the one that we use.
Yeah.
But I mean, 3.5 years and we have not had one.
Yeah.
And we've not had a blowout.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. But we've just, if you just check the air pressure.
I mean,
and if you,
it's just ply luck of their, I mean, they are 10 ply tires, but I mean, we've just been very fortunate. I mean, I hear about those stories all the time, and it's just, I mean, you know, freak accidents happen. If you get a nail in a sidewall, I mean, that's just part of it. Or if you get a big nail, I mean, embedded into the, you know, center of it, then that's one thing. People think that the less air they have in the tire, the cooler it'll run. No. The more air you have, and don't be, you know, crazy too much air, the more air you have, the cooler it runs. These tires are a cold inflated pressure of 80 PSI. So that's what I started out at.
And Chase checks them every time we move the camper. So anytime the thing rolls, Chase will check the, you know, the lugs, tire pressure, all that stuff. And that is all of the outside. Onward to inside. All right, so the kitchen. I would say these are RV accessories. If you go on Pinterest or anything like that and you type in like what people recommend for their RV, this is kind of the whole, I guess, vibe thing of this video. Kitchen stuff we do not own. One, read off the list: an Instapot, air fryer, a ice maker, toaster oven, a food processor, food chopper thingy, like if you see on Pamper Chef, the little like, they go dun 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 food chopper things. Chase is looking at me funny.
Like I use those.
We don't have any of those. I used to have a food processor and it was pretty big for the camper. I did not like using it because it just, so many components for the camper and then trying to clean it. I just didn't like it. I did have a crock pot, but I only used it a couple times of the year and it was great. I loved it, but I just couldn't justify keeping it. We did have an air fryer toaster oven, like did 11 different things or whatever when we first moved into the camper. And it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. But it broke after a year, it glitched really bad, and I just haven't bought a new one. I do like air fryers, but my thing is once it's broken, we try to live without it for a while and see if we actually need it. Now, if a tire goes out, we're gonna replace it. We're not gonna just live without it and see what happens. But there are some things that if it breaks, like our Mikwave, is that how it was? The Mikwave?
Yes.
If you watch this video, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we don't have that anymore. When we got married, the first, 3.5 years-ish or so, 4 years, we did not own a microwave until we moved into this camper. And then...
How many years have we been married?
7.
Good job.
Right?
That's right.
Okay.
A little over 7. 7 in a few months.
7 in a few months, yeah. So the microwave broke, I think back in the summer. It broke. I think maybe Colorado or something, or it was just not working. Yeah, it started acting up, and then it just finally went out, and we took it out. That thing was heavy. It was very heavy, and I just don't think we'll ever get a microwave. One, because it would have to go right there, and I like having my counter space clean. I don't like putting stuff on it. So if I can't put it up in the cabinet, I don't want it. So like a toaster oven, Instapot, crock pots, all that stuff needs to be for myself. I like to have it put away in the cabinet, and if I can't do that, then I don't want it, type thing. Plus, I've lived without it, and I'm pretty fine. Another thing I don't have is collapsible silicone stuff. So collapsible mixing bowls, collapsible measuring spoons and stuff. I did have some collapsible silicone measuring spoons I really liked, but it was kind of a pain to clean after a while and they started ripping. So I got rid of those. I just have metal now and I love them. They're heavy duty and I've had them for 4 years, the metal ones I have, and they're great. I love them. A lot of stuff that I had, I brought with us. I didn't buy a lot of new things when we moved into the camper. So I didn't want to spend the money when I already had stuff like mixing bowls and everything. But I understand if you're tight on space, you might want the mixing bowls. Me personally, I like my metal ones. I also don't have any of the stacking pots. I know the big thing right now is the stacking pots, and then you can attach the handle to it. You have like one handle that attaches to like all of them. I don't have any of those. I really don't have that many pots or pans either. So if you want to see an actual kitchen tour, leave a comment below. I also don't have any metal like organizational kitchen stuff. So like the metal magnetic plate where you can put like your spices and stuff. I don't have any of that. I also don't have the magnetic shred to put your knives on. I personally, I don't think that's very safe. I don't like having my knives out like that. That's just me. I have my knives in a sleeve like this, and then I just put it back in the sleeve, and then I put it in the drawer like that. Another thing is the spices. I tried, now it doesn't have the spice thing anymore, but
spice rack real quick. Nothing fancy, just a nice little pull-out drawer.
oh, it does pull out more.
Oh,
there we go.
There it goes right there.
Yeah.
And yeah,
yeah, sorry it's a little dark. I had bought a few organizational stuff when we first moved into the camper because I thought, oh, I'm going to be so organized. And I feel like I am. But I bought these spice containers. I don't have the containers anymore. But they all lined up in here and you would dump your spices in them, and they were plastic, and they had like the pour spout and they had like a little shaker spout, but they were hard to clean. You couldn't put that much in them. So then I had to like keep the extras somewhere else. They just weren't that great. So I don't have any of the like decanting spice stuff. I keep everything in the original spice container. All my spices fit in this now. I got this tub at Walmart. I think it's actually like a fridge container drawer thing. So I like having clear because I can see, if I pull the drawer out, I can see what I have. So that's what I recommend. That's just me. And yes, I do have quite a few. All of my salts. Oh, I also don't have a dishwasher. That's become a new thing now, is having the countertop dishwashers. I understand if you need to have that because you physically just like can't wash your dishes and stuff or something. Like, I understand that. But personally, I mean, look at all this counter space we have. I'm gonna back up and show them all the counter space we have. We have so much counter space that I like having my counter space cleaned. If I had to put a dishwasher on it, it would take up a good chunk. And then I have to store it somewhere because I don't like stuff on my counters. Also, I don't have a utensil cup thing or any like rods that you can hang stuff on, like from IKEA. Like I said, I don't like having stuff out. I realized that's just how I am. I did have a utensil cup thing that had all my utensils over here. It was very clunky because at the time we had the microwave and a little like weird shelf cubby thing over here. Mm-hmm. And with the utensil thing in that, it was a lot. So I don't have that anymore. All my utensils are in a drawer. Plus, it was one thing to take off the counter on travel days. So I just don't have that anymore. We also don't have a drying rack, a collapsible drying rack or any wood type drying racks. All we use is we will put a dish towel right here. We'll wash the dishes, we'll dry them, and then we'll put them away. I know some people will have like, and this is like another sink right here. I know some people will make their other sink a dish drying thing or whatever. In the past, those things have just gotten gross and then I have to clean them. So I just don't have one. And the drying, I did have a drying mat, but I felt like those just got gross no matter how many times I washed them. Even though it would put clean stuff on it, I just got tired of buying new ones. Next thing we don't own is a doorknob. Just kidding. Well, we don't own a doorknob. We need to fix that.
Find the right one. Lowe's is.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to find like replacement stuff with this? We've tried, I don't know how many different doorknobs, and they just don't work. So if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Anyway, we don't own, it's pretty dark.
This is where the washer and dryer would go.
They're right behind this little step ladder, is washer and dryer hookups. Yeah, what's funny is that whenever I was looking at campers, because Chase was working and I was in charge of looking at campers, I was determined to have washer and dryer hookups. I don't know why.
I think once we purchased the camper, I think we later, with further research, we found that they're very problematic. Now, we have a couple friends that have had theirs and they absolutely love theirs, and they have not had any issues.
Some people either absolutely love them or absolutely hate them. It's either one or the other. And as you can see, we have a bigger trash can in our vacuum here. If we had a washer and dryer stackable or whatever, we would have to put the trash can somewhere else, and I like having a bigger trash can. I know that sounds funny. I don't want our trash can to be out. I like having the big vacuum, or the vacuum would have to like go in our closet or something. And personally, I just like having the bigger trash can, or we would have to get a smaller one that goes under the sink, and I'm just not about that. I mean, I do it if I have to, but I prefer the bigger trash can. Living room. A few things. Sorry, I'm trying to stick to a list here. So another thing we don't own is decorations, as I'm showing you my fall garland here and up on that side as well. I don't own like decorations that stay up year round per se. The only times I actually decorate the camper is for fall and Christmas. It's the only time I really decorate, and I limit it to a tub minus our 6-foot Christmas tree and garlands in the very front. I tried the decoration thing, and I'm just not a huge decoration person or fake plants. When we first moved into the camper, I went to IKEA because I thought, seeing online, all the RVers go to IKEA and get all the IKEA stuff. And then I realized I just not a decoration person at all. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. And there's only 2 things that I actually own from IKEA still after 3.5 years. And I spent probably about like $80 worth of stuff. I mean, it's a good chunk of money, but at the same time, like I would highly recommend if you move into the camper and you're like, I'm gonna get all the organization stuff, live in it for a while, declutter, see if you like actually need the organizational stuff, and then go from there. Because you might be surprised, like you may not need the organization stuff. Because I had bought extra, baskets to stick on the wall to, put stuff in, or extra little shelves and stuff. And I ended up getting rid of all of those. If you need the extra space after a while and you're realizing you need it, then I would say get it, but just be mindful of all the different organization stuff that's out there. It may not be good for your camper or how it's set up. Yeah, let's go to the bedroom. Sorry about the LED lights. So another thing that we don't own in the bedroom / I guess really the whole camper in general is over the door hanging stuff. So the way our doors are, if we had hanging stuff, it would just
I just cleaned our restroom today.
Chase just cleaned our restroom is literally
it's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
We love it.
I actually do like it too. So we don't have any over the door hanging stuff. One, the way our doors are and cabinets are, it wouldn't fit over the door stuff. Now I know a lot of RVers have it, or they'll nail stuff into their doors and put like hanging stuff in there. We don't have any of that. Like I said, I try to minimize and not really put stuff on our walls, minus like our wall of posters right there, but that's on sticky tacks and that doesn't come off at all. But we just don't have, like, literally our toilet is just that. We also don't own shower over the door stuff or shower organization stuff. We have little shelves in our shower, and that's all we use. We don't own any extra hooks or anything like that. Like I said, we just try to keep it minimal as possible. So another thing we don't own is extra, like the felt shelving stuff. You would like hang right here, and then you would put like the little shelves and everything. We don't own any of those. We have had some of those in the past. I was just never really a fan of them. I know some people love having theirs in their camper, and that's great. We just don't use it. We actually have quite a bit of storage in our camper, so we don't have any of that. We don't have extensive like little cubbies where you could put like all your socks or different things like that. We just don't have.
We also got the Lord's Supper too.
Oh, yeah, we got this.
A white elephant Christmas gift.
Yeah, we got this at a white elephant
this past
Christmas. And surprisingly, y'all, I have had really bad luck with command strips in this camper. This Jesus pick has stayed on since December, and I think that's the longest anything has stayed on with command strips in this camper. Go figure, it would be a Lord's Supper Jesus pick. We don't own any extensive organization closet stuff. If you want to see how I organized this or that drawer or these drawers, let me know in the comments and I will definitely let you know. Another thing we don't own is space bags. We have tried space bags. One, our bed, when you open it up, does not have any storage under the bed. It's very flat, like there's maybe like that much space. And we keep some of Chase's like really heavy duty Carhartts or we come like the overalls that are like lined and stuff. We keep them in here. Other than that, we can't put anything under our bed, which stinks, but that's okay. And we also don't own, and we actually did own these when we first moved into the camper because I bought them, were the shoe organizations that go around your bed. I tried those. One, I probably just didn't I should have nailed them in or something, but it was just the way our frame is, it's hard to do stuff like that the way our frame and bed is. I would have had to nail into the actual bed frame to put those in place, and they just didn't really fit our shoes well because I wear a size 10, Chase wears a size 10, and they're not really made for people with bigger feet. It was just hard to vacuum around. I would hit my foot a lot on them, so we don't have any shoe organization stuff. A few things overall we don't own: RV apps or subscriptions. RV apps is in we don't own iOverlander or really any of those type of apps because we've never boondocked, never seen the point of them. There are so many RV apps, it's ridiculous. We're not saying we're against RV apps, but we've just never really seen the purpose.
Subscription for this, subscription for that.
Yeah, there's just so many different things that you could do that we just don't own. And we've gone without it for 3.5 years and we've been doing fine. Now memberships, the only membership we have is Escapees because that's our mail service. So if you wonder what that is, watch our mail video. And I think the only subscription thing that we will get soon is maybe a harvest host or something like that. Instead of doing a truck stop, do a harvest host instead. So we might look into harvest host. But other than that, we don't have Good Sam, we don't have a KOA, we don't have
Thousand
KOA
Trails
membership, 1,000 Trails membership. Because one, we're not around 1,000 trails whenever we're camping, well, especially for your work, we're never around one for your work.
Yeah.
That is all the stuff that we don't own.
It's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap. I hope this kind of gives some ideas. I know when we first moved into the camper, you're bombarded with a lot of things of you should get this for your camper, this makes life easier, you need this, buy this, all this sort of things, how it's made their life, 100 times easier. And that is great. If any of these products that you own have made your life easier, that is awesome. But for us, we've learned to keep it extremely minimal as possible, as I'm showing you our large closet, to keep it as minimal as possible, and that's what has helped us personally. There are some things that we are going to buy, like the generator, solar, boondocking stuff, but other than that, we don't really own a lot of these things, and we just go without. And then if we say, oh, we actually need this would really be, really sit down and think about it, then we'll purchase it. Yeah, I hope that kind of helps. Maybe give some peace of mind that you don't need these things. But
I agree.
Yeah, so anyway, we greatly appreciate y'all watching our videos and subscribing because that has been awesome since I think we started this in May, I think.
Yep.
If there's something that you don't own that other RVers own, let us know. We're always up for more things. I'm probably missed a few things, most likely. We will see y'all next week.
Now to go start a fire.
Yeah, now to go start a fire. Bye, y'all.